Welcome back to another video. Before we start, please hit the like button down below, and if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button to help grow our channel. Today, we'll be talking about lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation has probably impacted you at some point in your life, or you're currently experiencing this right now. I'll be giving you guys my top 6 tips on how to avoid lifestyle inflation. So, what is lifestyle inflation? So lifestyle inflation is when one's income increases, so do their living expenses. So, in other words, the more money you make, the more money you spend. For most people, when their income increases, they tend to spend a lot more money on housing. So that's when individuals will go out and buy a bigger house for themselves. The second biggest expense that we see for most people is that they end up buying brand new luxury vehicles. So they would go finance that brand new BMW or Mercedes. And I'll be honest, I love cars. I am a car fanatic, love my European cars, I love my American muscles. But A, I would never finance a car, and B, I would never finance a car in these interest rates that we're experiencing right now. And another expense that we tend to see in most individuals is that they end up spending more money on traveling and dining out. I understand these are experiences and one needs to enjoy life. However, I feel like one can be reasonable with their money and they can enjoy life without spending a ton of money. I know people that go out and spend $20,000 to $30,000 on vacation. And yeah, it's a great vacation. I'm not arguing that. But when you get back and you have to pay those bills, it's not fun anymore, especially when you don't have the money for these vacations. So it's really easy to spend more money when you start making more money, but it becomes even more important to become disciplined with your money. So let's dive into this video and I'll tell you how you can avoid lifestyle inflation and the tips that I use. The first tip I want to talk about is setting clear financial goals. So when you start making more money, it is very important that you're setting these financial goals. And by setting these financial goals with every increase, it will really help you focus on why you're really making more money. I personally divide up my goals into short term and long term. When I make my short term goals, these are anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. And some of my personal goals that I'll share with you are to increase my emergency fund, which I'm constantly increasing when I'm investing more in case of any liabilities. Say for a potential car, I tend to put on a lot of kilometers when I'm at my job. So I will have to replace my car within 2 to 3 years. Also, I do like to travel, but I like to travel within the province or within Canada and even go down to the States. And here you can get away with spending just a few $100s and having a great experience. You get to refocus, re-energize, and experience something new without shelling thousands of dollars. I would also focus on your long-term goals. These goals are anywhere from 3 to 5 years. And some of my long-term goals are to invest more in some ETFs or stocks. This is where I would change my target amount. Like let's say if I'm aiming to save 50 million, but now I'm thinking 20 million because I got the increase, I'll start putting in more money to adjust for that. Also, I save for future events. So one of the events that I might be seeing within the 3 to 5 years is maybe potentially I might be getting married. And marriages are expensive, right? So saving up for that is crucial, especially with more income. It would mean that it's easier to save up for my wedding now rather than blowing money on things I don't need. Lastly, my last goal is to save up some money for future businesses that I have planned. I have some business ideas that I want to start with some partners. And for that, we need a large capital amount. So with the pay increase, it becomes easier to save for these investments. At the end of the day, these goals will help you stay grounded and focused on why you're really making more money. The second tip I would talk about is creating a budget. And I know, it's a drag. It's a drag to keep track of your money. It's annoying and can be a bit of work, but trust me, it's very important. Now you can use many different apps to help you track. I personally use Excel. I'm a bit old school, but I also have my own working sheet that's ready to go and it's just simple for me to use. So use a method that's actually good for you and that you would be consistent with. When you start tracking your expenses, I think you'll be shocked to see where your money is going. You will see your money going out for your entertainment and travels. You'll see your transportation costs, your subscriptions, and your beautiful $10 coffee. So by making this budget, you can cut out expenses that you don't need. And one of the biggest ones that we're seeing now is subscription costs that you might have signed up thinking, oh, it's $5, $10 a month. And some of these subscriptions you might not ever be using. You can reevaluate if you really need to use these subscriptions, cut them out, and dramatically reducing your expenses. Creating a budget is crucial to keep you on track for your goals. Without budgeting, you might not know where your money is going, or at least not accurately know where your money is actually going. The third tip I want to talk about is living below your means. This goes in hand with budgeting. If you are not living below your means, there's a very good chance that you're living paycheck to paycheck. In the best case scenario, you have enough money to pay off those expenses, but at the end of the month, you have nothing left over for savings and investments. I follow the 5 times rule, which means I will not purchase an expense if I don't have 5 times the amount invested. Let me give you an example. So let's say I'm looking to buy a new vehicle that's $50,000. I will not purchase that vehicle unless I have $250,000 invested. If I don't have that amount invested, I just simply don't buy it because I can't afford it. Another big expense is when people's income goes up is housing. When people make more money, people tend to go buy a bigger house when it's really not needed. With a bigger house comes a lot more expenses. You're looking at a higher mortgage, you're looking at higher property tax, you're looking at higher utilities, and we haven't even got to the maintenance and repairs yet of the house. Buying a house bigger than you need is one of the reasons why most people live paycheck to paycheck. So it's really important to live below your means. And trust me, in the long run, it will save you a lot of stress by living below your means. The fourth tip I want to talk about is automate your savings. So once now that you have a budget down and now that you are living below your means, I would automate your paycheck that a certain amount of money is put into your savings and investments right when you get that paycheck. You may have heard of the concept called pay yourself first. This is where you put money into your savings and investments before you spend any money on expenses. I personally aim to save 40 to 50% of my paycheck. However, I know that's very ambitious and most people won't be able to do that. So I would aim to save around at least 20% if possible, if not 10, but I would aim for 20% if possible. By paying yourself first, this will keep you on track with all your short-term and long-term goals. And if you stay consistent, you'll realize how powerful this method is and why many wealthy people live by it. The fifth tip that I want to talk about, I personally struggle with it myself, and that is avoid comparing yourself to others. It's really easy to compare yourself nowadays with the amount of social media that's available to us. On social media, you'll see that young individual driving a $100,000 car, buying the $50,000 watch, and individuals going on extravagant vacations. But the truth is, most of that is fake, and most individuals are just getting by. People on social media would rather flex that they're rich than actually be rich. Remember, our goal is to invest and actually become wealthy. So one day, you can go buy that $100,000 or $200,000 car and go on that $50,000 vacation. And this is about delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is to resist the impulse of taking the reward that's available now in the hope of obtaining a more valued reward in the future. This thinking has really decreased in our young generation because we have everything on our fingertips. We want everything now, but that's not possible. Real investing takes time. So be okay with not spending all your money now so that you can be wealthy tomorrow and live in peace. The sixth tip I want to talk about, and this kind of goes against what I've been saying about saving, making a budget, spending less money. I'm going to encourage you to spend money here, is to invest in yourself. I personally believe this is the best money that you can spend by increasing your skills. And this can be done by going back to school, getting that master's that you always wanted, or just taking courses to gain skills to help you get that promotion or start that side hustle that you've been thinking of. This is the ultimate way that you will increase your skills and help gain more income in the future. The more skills you have will most likely result in higher income. And once you are making that higher income, you can use those to fund your investments, gain that financial independence earlier, and knock off all your goals. One tip from my corporate American people: see if your company offers free courses or is willing to pay for further schooling. I find a lot of companies are willing to pay for a master's if you stay a certain amount of time with your company. So that means you get free education and you'll most likely be promoted fairly quickly with that additional education that you receive. So those were my 6 tips, and I really hope those were helpful and you guys can implement some, or if not, all of these tips into your life. Stay tuned for future videos that are full of tips to help you gain financial independence. So until next time, remember to keep investing.